Throughout the halls of a Four Seasons lost. In Austin, I saw, pause. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear, click, grinning from ear to ear. Craving the rain in the grain, rekindling the flame. Close as she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose. In paradise, we know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams.
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and we're going to be talking some NBA basketball, playoff basketball, and what a good weekend it was. We're going to talk about some of the crazy things that happened as far as the plays, the ending of the Celtics game, whether Marcus Smart should have shot the free throws, whether Giannis should have got a flagrant one for hitting Jason Tatum in the face. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and we're going to talk about that. And let's just jump right into the scores yesterday, or over this weekend. Let's talk about this weekend. The Mavericks, of course, came back and beat the Suns twice on Friday, 103-94. And then, of course, yesterday, 111-101. And, I was sitting there and we were talking about this series, and I thought it would be 3-1 go to our Suns. And Drew thought, my boy Drew Henthorn, if he couldn't make it today, he's got a sick little girl he's got to take care of, and family first always. I'm Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. And Drew thought that they would win both of the games, and he was correct, and we talked that we were going to come on Monday, so thank God he's not here so I don't have to hear his mouth talk about how great he was. But he did go 12-3 this weekend in his picks, so he had a tremendous weekend. But anyway, this game, the thing is that the only thing that's been driving me crazy is watching Luka cry on every damn call. I'm just like, it's wearing me out. Dude, why are you crying every single call? I mean, it's really pathetic. It truly is. It's pathetic, man. He falls down. He's like, oh, give me – dude, they're not going to give – this is playoff basketball. This is not European basketball where you are the star and you get every call. They're not going to let you shoot 30 free throws. Ask James Harden how that works out for him. That was James Harden's issue. During the season, he shoots all these free throws, and the playoffs are like, no, we're not giving that to you. You got to earn it. You should have made that shot. Because as a basketball player, if you watch the referees, there's sometimes they'll call a late whistle. And the reason why they make the late whistle is because there is a shot you should have made playing through the contact, and you should have made that shot, but you missed. So the referees will then give you a foul. It's like late whistle, boom, okay, he didn't make the shot he should have, and the referee would not have called a foul had he made the shot. Where Luka is just crying nonstop. And then as far as these flagrant 1 and flagrant 2, I'm wore out. Okay, every play is not. I guess it depends on the referee's crew. I mean, because yesterday, for Booker to get a flagrant 1 on the follow-through on Powell, he was pump fake. Powell jumped. He just followed through, and he accidentally barely touched him, and Powell fell all over like he hit me in the face. Now, that crap right there, that's the crap that you need. Now, remember, in the beginning of the year, the NBA was going to start finding people and calling fouls on people flopping. I think they need to go even a step further now. It's like, if you barely get touched, quit falling. Oh, my God, I'm hurt. And you get up and then you shoot free throws acting like nothing's wrong. He barely touched him, and he got a flagrant 1 from that. That's horrible. Clearly, he was following through on his shot. Clearly, barely grazed him. Now, if you go back and look at the replay, which the referees do, oh, well, he touched him. Well, when Giannis went up and Jason Tatum dunked on Giannis, Giannis' elbow hit Jason Tatum all in the face. Now, is that intentional or whatever? No, he was making a basketball play, and he went up. He tried to block the shot, and he accidentally got him. I think that they need to go, okay, just because you get touched in the face, it doesn't mean it's a flagrant. It's how you get hit, the way you get hit, what happens with that. That's where y'all should. They got to go back after next year and let's fix this. Just like in the Golden State game with Ja. If Ja got hurt, it's because he bumped knees with him. He barely grabbed his knee. Come on now. And so everybody's all upset about the cold and all that. And John Morant took that down. Because come on, man. You did that to pop off with Steve Kerr. That was not a dirty play. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows that. What Dylan Brooks did was clearly retaliation on what happened with Clark and Draymond. But the difference is, like I said the other day, the difference is Draymond came down, hit him in the face accidentally, which if you play basketball, somebody swiped, you've either hit somebody in the face or got hit in the face. That shouldn't be a flagrant anything. And they're like, every time you get hit in the face, it's a flagrant. Come on now. Come on now. It's about how you get hit, I think, whether it's a flagrant one or a flagrant two. But Dylan Brooks clearly wound up, and, Skip and all his nonsense with Shannon, he just goes off because you're an old dude trying to stay relevant by just saying whatever outrageous so you get some clickbait. But clearly, Dylan Brooks tried to hit him across the head. Now, Drew and I, the other day on Friday, we talked about it. And Drew was like, oh, back in the day, yeah, when we played back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, whatever, yeah, no. It's just a hard foul. But in today's game where they call it, I said the way he did it is retaliation clearly. He clearly didn't try to hurt him, but he wanted to hit him hard. He got hurt. Like I said, 1 game suspension, let's stop that. Now you come back, you give Devin Booker a flagrant one for following through and barely touching Powell in the face. You should give Foul another damn foul for flopping and faking. Let's give them another foul, add a foul on top of a foul for faking, like you did for flopping. Same thing. Let's stop all this stuff. It's getting ridiculous. Especially the way Luke is doing it. Stop it. You're wearing me out. You're destroying the integrity of the game, doing what you're doing, flopping. This generation, y'all soft enough as it is. Oh my God. Anyway, Grizzlies and Golden State. The Grizzlies lost, and like everybody thought, and Drew and I both thought it would, that the Grizzlies would get killed by Golden State. Golden State was not going to go 7 for 36 again. That was not going to happen. And when you look at the Eastern Conference, the Sixers got the big boy back on Friday night, made a huge difference. Clearly, he was still a little off wearing that mask. You could tell it kind of messed with him a little bit. And Embiid just really wasn't totally himself, but he still played really, really well. The Sixers, of course, winning 99-79 with the Heat. And the thing about the Heat is they're so small, they don't have an answer for Embiid. And if the Sixers are hitting wide open shots, then the Heat are in trouble because they have no way to combat them unless they're knocking down threes. There's no way to combat and stick with the Heat. Stick with the Sixers. Because if you go zone, which is what they tried that, once it goes to Embiid, he's got whoever on him, Jimmy Butler down. Well, you can't do this, so you got to double him. And he's making a correct pass out, and they're knocking down threes. And you got to figure that they're going to continue to do that. Maybe. But when you look at Danny Green, come on, he was hot and he was cold when he was with San Antonio. When he went to the Lakers, he was hot and he was cold. Now he's with them, he's hot and he's cold. It's just Danny Green. That's just him. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's not. But he is streaky. So then anyway, the Sixers won game 2 or game 4. And you see, they won, they came back and they beat them 116-108 yesterday. Now, in that game yesterday, James Harden had 30. But most importantly, he had 16 in the fourth quarter. 16 in the fourth quarter. He's been scoring 16 all games. Went 6 for 10, shot 18 times. And part of what we talked about was James needing to shoot 18 times for it to really make a difference with the Sixers. Because Embiid is getting back until he gets his feet underneath him and gets settled. He's going to have to be the one that steps up, James Harden. He's going to have to be the one that steps up and does whatever's necessary. And Embiid is going to have to. The Sixers are going to have to just rely on that. And then, of course, the Bucks and the Celtics. What a game that was! And I alluded to it earlier how Giannis hit Jason Tatum, and people were talking about, oh, is that a flagrant 2 and a flagrant 1? Dude, to me, that's just a basketball play. Now, did he get him with the elbow? Yeah, but how the hell you going to go up and try to block somebody's shot and come across and not hit him? There's no way in the world he was trying to hit Jason Tatum in the face. And you're on drugs if you think if he was. That's just idiotic. You're just coming up with a bunch of nonsense. That's just, but what a game. But the thing is this, Jason Tatum, one of the things I said about Boston, my issue with Boston was Jason Tatum being up and down, up and down, up and down, him and Jaylen Brown. And our boy Marcus didn't play well last night. Now, on that last play, was that a three-point shot? Well, you called it earlier when they did the swipe coming up. They called it earlier in the game and said that was a three-point shot. And then with the game on the line, them down 3, you don't call it. Now, was Marcus in the process of going up? Yes. Was he on the floor? No question. When the original contact was made with the body by Drew Holiday, he was on the ground. He was coming up. Surely he was going up to shoot the ball. It was 4 seconds left. What's he going to do? He's going to have to throw it up there. Or 3 seconds. He's going to have to shoot it. So his intent was to shoot it. Now, was he on the ground? Yes. Was he in the process of coming up to shoot? He may have been just a hair too late. But it was almost the exact similar play in the beginning of the game. So why would you do it in the fourth quarter if you called it in the first quarter? All I ask for is officiating on any level is consistency. When I played, that's all I wanted. But then there's times you'd have one referee calling it tough on one end, one referee calling it soft on the other end. So it's like, okay, what are we going to do here? All I want to know is, how do I get to play today? Can I be physical, or do I have to keep my hands off and be soft? Which one do I get to do today? But the official and the NBA are going to have to come to some sort of terms with what we're doing right now with this flagrant 1 and 2. Now, I thought after the Dylan Brooks deal, him sitting out, that would curb it, and I just think Jordan Poole did not try to hurt Ja. I think his knee going into Ja, I think that was a lot worse than him barely just grazing there, kind of turning his kneecap. You go pull your own kneecap and see how that's going to affect you. I think his knee accidentally going into Ja's knee when he was reaching there, I think if he hurt him then. But that reach around, come on. And your Grizzlies coach is just crying stop it. Y'all are going too far with all this nonsense. And the NBA really has to come up with a plan on what the hell a flagrant 1 and flagrant 2 is. To me, if it's a basketball play and you accidentally hit somebody in the head and you cut them or you poke them in the eye or something like that, granted, give me a flagrant 1 on that. Okay, you're not supposed to go to the head. But with Devin Booker yesterday, with his follow-through, and barely grazing Powell and Powell falling all that, like, oh, my God. Because if you'll watch it, he did it. Then he hesitated. Then he was like, oh, my God, yeah, here. Let me fall back. Ridiculous. He should have got another damn foul called on him for flopping or for faking. Let's clean this up. If you're going to make them soft, then make them soft but not cottonelle soft. Let's go, okay, we're going to give you a little bit, but we're not going to give you too much. We're going to let you do this, but not that. I think the NBA has to go that far with it. It's going, okay, here's a clear flagrant 1. It says if you get hit in the face, blah, blah. Fine. But if you're making a basketball play on somebody and you barely graze them, is that really a flagrant? We had the same thing with Lou Dort earlier in the year where he went up and his hands went across and he just slapped the guy in the face. And I said on my live stream on After the Storm, which is my Thunder thing, and remember, we're going to be talking about that on Thursday. Thunder Thursdays, we're going to be giving a recap, my first one of after the Thunder season and what's going to happen with, of course, the draft coming up. So we're going to talk in further detail about that. But anyway, Lou Dort not knowing exactly, because he's not really an offensive player. He didn't know how to fly. So when he got hit, he just threw his hands everywhere. I said right then, that was a flagrant one because of the way he did it, and that's exactly what the refs did. Because he didn't even, it was all ball. He didn't even get fouled. So what ended up happening is he got the foul called on him, the flagrant. They got to shoot the free throws. He didn't get to shoot free throws because he didn't get the ball. That was all ball. He didn't even get touched. And then after that, when Lou Dort would come and somebody would slap at him, his hands went straight up. They didn't flail out all over the place. And we talked about that on about the Thunder broadcast. That was a teachable moment by the Thunder's broadcast to be able to teach people the difference and why it was a difference instead of saying, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. No, tell the truth. Teach people. Do your damn job. Teach them about basketball. You have all these viewers. Why don't you teach them something? And I was doing, it's so funny because Kalina Azubuike, who's from Tulsa, went to Victory Christian School, one of the best players out of Oklahoma, went on and went to Kentucky, and then he played, 6, 7, 8 years in the NBA, whatever it was. And now he's he's on the Golden State's broadcast. And he came on, I figured what show it was, and he was criticizing Golden State and complimenting them, giving it a correct analysis of the team. Here's our weaknesses, this is what we do wrong, this is what we got to do better, here's this, here's that. Thunder don't do that. We need to start giving a correct analysis instead of just being one-sided. No. Tell the truth. Our fans need to become more knowledgeable about basketball and what needs to happen. Our fans they need it. And you got Golden State, you got Philly, you got all these people. They're telling the truth about the team and what's going on. Be honest. Oklahoma fans aren't stupid. A lot of them may be not knowledgeable, but they're not stupid. And they get it. So let's talk about that and get that going. Anyway, let's go and we'll look at the bracket and see what the bracket is like right now. Philly and Dallas tied up at 2-2. Basically what they did is I wanted my house, you wanted your house. Game 5, we'll see what happens with that. I believe that's tomorrow. Game 5, I believe, is tomorrow when Dallas and the 10th. When is the 10th? That is tomorrow, right? Yes, I believe tomorrow is the 10th. Let me see. Yes, tomorrow's the 10th, so we got Dallas and Phoenix, and, of course, they'll be back at Phoenix. And the question is, are the Mavericks players going to be able to do what they did at home, knocking down shots? Finney Smith was ridiculous yesterday, knocking down shots like crazy. He was absolutely ridiculous. The question is he going to do that again in Phoenix? And usually players don't play as well on the road as they play at home when they're bench players. Miami and Philly, of course, we talked about that. They're 2-2. Miami won 2 at home. Philly won 2 at home. The difference is the big fella's back now. I don't see James Harden doing what he did again. I don't see him going for 30 again. It would be nice for him to do that, but I think, right now I'm going to reserve judgment on it, but I don't know if he can do it. If he does it again, then I'll be sold on James Harden. But his history says that he goes back to shooting 13 times and falling away in the fourth quarter, shooting a bunch in the first quarter, a little less in the second quarter, a little less in the third quarter, and basically not at all in the fourth. So that's been his MO. So we'll see if he goes back to doing that, which, of course, is a possibility, but we shall see. Then, of course, Milwaukee and Boston. Milwaukee leads 2-1. Of course, that game is tonight in Milwaukee. Boston has to win this game. There's just no way around it. They're going to have to come back. They've got to get the W. They cannot afford to go down 3-1. If they do, it's over. So they've got to go ahead and win this one and go back to Boston. And it all depends on Jason Tatum. If Jason Tatum is balling and doing all the things that we know that he can do, and him and Jaylen Brown are rolling, like I said Friday, about the game. If they did this on Saturday, this is what would happen. And instead, he played terrible and Boston barely lost. So the question is Milwaukee's reserve players going to come down and knock down threes because Giannis is basically going to do what Giannis does? Or are they going to go back to playing the way they did? And if Jason Tatum is on, Milwaukee doesn't have a prayer. Boston will beat Milwaukee. On the other side, Golden State and Memphis. That game's tonight. I don't know if Ja is playing. I don't know if it's been determined yet whether Ja is going to play in the game against Golden State. My guess is he doesn't play, but we shall see how hurt he really is. And because they really, let me see. They're not saying right now whether Ja is playing, but if he doesn't play, Memphis is in trouble. Golden State will just smash them, even though Memphis was 20-2 without him, and people said 20-5. You don't really count the last three games because they really knew where they were going to be, so they weren't really worried about winning those last three, but they were 20-2 without Ja. So, but I still think Golden State will win at home and go up 3-1 against Memphis. And then Phoenix and Dallas, I do believe that Phoenix will win in 6. I think they'll win the next two. I think they'll win at home tomorrow night and then come back on Thursday and finish out Dallas in Dallas on Thursday night. By the way, and I'll be in Tulsa for the and I got to figure out how I'm going to do that because I'm supposed to be in Tulsa, so we got to figure out how we're going to do that. I'm supposed to be in Tulsa for the PGA. Going to go watch Tiger play at Southern Hills on Thursday. As you all know, golf is starting. The PGA is in Tulsa at Southern Hills Golf and Country Club. What a beautiful place that is. What a gorgeous course. That's extremely tough. Oh, my God, it's brutal. But anyway, so it'll be interesting to see Tiger. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that. I may do the Unpopular Hour in the morning before I head off to Tulsa, and then I'm gonna be in the PGA all day Thursday. So I don't know if I do go. I don't think I would. There's no way I'm gonna be back by 2:00 to be able to do that. So we'll see how that works out because it depends on. I don't know if they even have given the times when Tiger is going to tee off. So, but anyway, let's talk about my boy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. Let's talk about his picks for tonight. Now remember, Drew went 12-2. He went 12-2 over this past weekend, and he's of course he was blowing my phone up about this weekend. Oh, look, we won this. I picked that. I did this. I did that. And he was just cracking me up. That's my boy. But I will say that that he was right on time. I'm looking for. Sorry, guys. Anyway, he's got the Bucks -1 tonight. He thinks that the Bucks, it would be a good bet. I, on the other hand, will think that the Celtics are going to beat them, and I think they'll win by more than one. He's also got Bucks and Celtics over 212. I believe that. I think that's a good bet. I think the Celtics are going to score a bunch of points. The Bucks are going to be at home, so of course they're going to score. The Grizzlies +11. I think that's good, but I still think they're going to beat the crap out of them. That's just my guess. What's going to happen with that? I think that the Golden State is going to actually smash them. I don't think that Grizzlies have a prayer. I think Golden State's going to come out and just smash them, and they smell blood in the water. The under 223, probably right. Depends on what time. Depends on whether Ja plays or not. I'm just interested to see how that's going to turn out. If he plays, clearly +11 saying he's not going to play. But, of course, the Grizzlies have played well without him, but I still think that was during the season. This is the playoffs. It's a completely different animal. You got Golden State Warriors who are rolling on all cylinders right now, so I don't see anything happen with that. The under 223, yeah, I don't know if the Grizzlies are going to be able to keep up. I think Golden State's going to score a bunch of points. And then, of course, he's got the Padres doing their deal at minus 175. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm so excited about the games tonight. I'm pumped up to see what's actually going to happen. And but anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and our boy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com did not get a chance to make it today. Want to thank our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. If you have any IT issues, please call these guys. They're fantastic. They're the ones that have helped me get the show rolling. And any issues I've had, they've been right on it. They can go and remote in and fix any issues that you might have, even though they're not even there. Of course, our boys at SRB. If you need engineering, surveying, or planning, these guys are definitely your peeps. Of course, Oak Grove Trucking if you need anything hauled off. And Nafco with my boys, Greg Nafee and his son Max. And then I also want to thank, we just, oh, if you guys have watched the show, you know that now we're starting to, every week we're going to be doing uh, a remote broadcast or remote live stream from a different uh, minority and black owned business. So, of course, last week we were at George's Barbecue, which is George's Happy Hog. Oh my God, it's so, it is so good. Anyway, I was there last week. This week, I'll let you guys know tomorrow where I'm going to be and what's going to happen with that because I'm not sure if we're going to do it tomorrow or Wednesday. We're trying to get all the plans worked out for that right now. But anyway, so we will be doing and doing remote broadcasts, honoring and supporting minority and black-owned businesses. And I'd like to thank our guys over at YNB, family-owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. And please, you can go online and pre-qualify for any loans, whether it be a vehicle or a house or, you know, or a second mortgage, whatever. You go online and pre-qualify at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. YNB, the bank that makes things happen. Anyway, I want to thank those guys for supporting us in that endeavor to support smaller businesses and to get the word out. Hey, go check out these places. And we're also going to be doing businesses as well. We're going to try to do, anybody knows me and know I love to eat. So I'm going to try to do places that that I can go eat. So we're gonna try to do places I can go eat, but we need to also focus and do business with just going to firms or to companies that are black and minority owned, and just kind of talk about that. And then we also have some big news coming up. We got some things that we will be working on, uh, and I can't wait to once we get the following. We've we've got a lot of the stuff set up, but we're working on some things that I think people are going to be extremely excited about in the future about sports and basketball in particular to begin with, and then branch on off and do some of that. And then, like I said, on Thursdays we will be doing Thunder Thursdays, which we're going to do the recap of the Thunder. Here are the players. Here's what they should be doing. So, if you guys are interested in my Thunder take, in fact, I was in the Uber the other day, and I was telling this guy about it. And so he's like, well, what is your take? And so I gave him my take, and he goes, wow. He goes, that's pretty good. I broke down the players, who I think we should get, who I think we should have, who played what, who did what. So That's going to be a good thing, breaking down the Thunder and what happened with that. So I'm excited about that. So, but anyway, let's talk about tonight. Who are the games going to be on? So we can talk about NBA playoff games tonight. The Grizzlies, once again, going against Golden State. The Warriors are up 2-1. We talked about that and talked about how I believe that Golden State is going to go up 3-1, whether Ja plays or Ja doesn't play. Uh, I think Golden State goes up 3-1 and finishes them off. But I think the Grizzlies will give them all they want Wednesday in Memphis. Oh man, speaking of Memphis, man, go in there and eat some barbecue, man. That sounds good. That'd be a good trip. It's only about 6.5 hour drive. That'd be a nice little trip to get away to go do that. So anyway, Grizzlies and Golden State. If Ja doesn't play, I think you've got to go ahead and take. I think 11 is a lot of points, but I think Golden State will beat them by more than that. And my boy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com took the Grizzlies plus 11 and took the under. Celtics and Bucks tonight. It's a must-win game for the Celtics. They're going to have to win this game. They cannot afford to go down 3-1. It's over with if they do. But I do believe Jason Tatum will bounce back and have a great game, kind of like what Jaylen Brown did game one. He played terrible game two. He was fantastic, and the Celtics won big. Of course, game three, the Celtics lost 103-101, and we talked about that, how at the end of the game, Marcus Smart got fouled, shot the free throw, made the first one, and then made one of the best. It's hard to explain how difficult it is to be able to miss on purpose and then miss where you can actually get the ball. And what's so funny is Marcus missed, got his own rebound, missed the little short puppy. They got a tip, missed that, and of course Al Horford tipped it in. And when you looked at it, when the buzzer went off, his hand was on the ball. Therefore, the Bucks escaped. Now, the question is, the officiating once again is coming into play. The NBA is going to be really good. I think they'll fix this issue with flagrant one and flagrant twos. They are typically don't really call fouls at the end of games and playoffs that will dictate the outcome of a game. They really don't do that. Clearly, it was a foul. I think Marcus was on the ground when he got original. If he called the body contact, clearly Marcus was on the ground. If he was saying when he swooped and Marcus was on his way up, that is a shooting motion. And in the game, remember, in the first quarter, they called that a three-point shot, that same thing. Now, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul were masters at it, but Kevin Durant would do that on the three-point line all the time. So what they did is almost the Kevin Durant rule. They would only give you 2. If you do that swoop, they wouldn't give you 3 points. So it stopped a lot of people from doing that. But Marcus was not trying to do the swoop. I think he was in the motion of coming up and trying to shoot the basketball to knock down 3 because, like Marcus said, well, what am I supposed to do? We're down 3? Well, I'm going to shoot a 2? I want a 2? No, I don't want a 2. I want a 3. I'm trying to shoot a 3. So I do believe he was in the process of not trying to do the swoop. He was in the process of trying to shoot the basketball and go up and should have a 3-point shot. That's what I think, but I'm not an NBA referee. The NBA office, of course, agreed with the officials like they always do publicly. Privately, I'm sure it may have been a completely different story, but I think they should have gave Marcus 3 free throws, let the game go over overtime, and see what happened. But instead, they get 2, but the Celtics had the chance. I mean, Marcus, when you got that ball flying back like that, I think if you got it, took your time a little bit, he kind of got a little rushed, throwing it up there a little hard. But if you catch it, like I tell my kids, closer you are, softer you shoot. Closer you are, softer you shoot. Clearly, Marcus threw it up there a little hard. If he shoots a little bit soft, I think the Celtics have a chance. But remember, they got a tip, almost went in, and then, of course, Horford got the follow-through like a pin cushion, just like a pinhead, too late. But his hand clearly was on the ball with the replay. And like I said, in the previous series, how did you not know the ball didn't go? Or in the Golden State series, how did you know the ball did not go off Memphis when clearly it did? And you didn't go back to replay. Oh, that's right. It wasn't a reviewable play. I think the NBA has some issues that they've got to resolve as far as these things are determined when it comes to what is reviewable and what is not. So anyway, Once again, I want to thank my sponsors. My newest sponsor, YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. You can go online, pre-qualify for a loan at www.ynbok.com. And then of course, my other sponsors. If you have any issues, go to Collaborative Logic. Hit those guys up. They're fantastic for any IT needs you might have. SRB, of course, anything you want to do as far as building roads or anything like that, they're perfect for that as far as engineering, surveying, and planning. Of course, my boy Jose Fierro for Oak Grove Trucking if you need anything moved, anything in a dump truck, fine. And of course, Naveco, the guys who do a little bit of everything. My boy over there, Greg Nafee, and my nephew, Max. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. We will be back tomorrow. And like I said, we are doing weekly remotes. We will be doing weekly remotes from minority and black-owned businesses, supporting the community and supporting these businesses to let other people know that they are out there and they are available. So anyway, once again, thank you for watching this. Everybody be safe out there tonight. Peace out.